this recording I'm going to do for Rudra Dinam. So one thing I need to do is recollect my yesterday's meditation, because Wednesday is my meditation day. And I'm going to follow up with Swamiji's teaching on living Shuddha-Dvaita process, LSP session 6. So I'll be able to combine both. Afterwards, I'll also record this as a 12-step meeting. So let me bring up yesterday's meditation, which was the 9th week, Rudra Dina, next week. I tried to record it yesterday and I didn't record. That was my mistake. So it's Namo Astu Neela Grivaya Sagasrakshaya Binduse Adoye Asya Sapano Amthebhyo Karanam Namaha. So which means salutation to the Lord of Plenitude with his 1,000 eyes, shining like 1,000 suns. Our homage to all his warriors who are in their thousands. And the Akashic record meaning, which Swami Nityananda, His Holiness Paramahamsa Nityananda did via reading Akashic record. He found the meaning was anything under the sun is auspicious, even more so the Rudraksha, seeds energized by Rudra wearing them. Every part of the cosmic form of Rudra represents an aspect of universe. This is our meditation verse and the meaning. And I'm going to go over some of the sharing I received from some of my friends and also people who attended Kalpataru. So I'm going to combine all that. So one of the things I want to share first is yesterday I had a conversation with one of my friends. Her name is Maria. She and me, we started the Rudra meditation together once upon a time, I should say, early part of January last year. And that's how the whole Rudra space took place. And eventually Rudra himself allowed me to go meet Paramahamsa Nityananda. I'm so blessed. And I want to say, this is the first present I received from Rudra himself. And it's, if you can see, it is Enlightenment pill given by Rudra himself. It is called, these words are called Brahmi, which was original script written on the caves and stuff by creator himself, Brahmi. And eventually Brahmi became Siddham, and Siddham became Sanskrit. And I think in Tibet they have another word, something to start with Lanka or something, Lagna or something. But anyway, the reason I like this is when we were doing Rudra meditation, I was trying to understand the power of this. And I put it in my heart and we were meditating. Exactly when it reached Om Kamari Vishchavu Namo Namo, my whole body went into a vibrational mode. And that's when I looked up the meaning. Kamari Vishchavu is salutation to the Lord who is a blacksmith. Anvil, which is also a tool used by blacksmith in Africa, they use as a symbol of divinity or Christianity. And also in Christian sermons, Lord is my potter, Lord is my blacksmith exists. And this is done by Vedic verses 19 million years ago. And what is the chance of me coming across, right? I love this one. The other thing I personally wanted to share is through this energy, when I started working this year, I initially started with the primordial energy force, which is feminine, because my spiritual mentor, His Holiness Paramahamsa Nityananda, said to pursue the female energy I needed to pursue. But then I found out, actually the original one I was pursuing was Raja Rajeshwari, but then Mugambika came into my consciousness, and she is the holder of the space, which is like the divine being inside us that nothing can touch, whether we are good or bad, or we are reacting, acting, it doesn't matter. The pure soul inside us is in resonation with the divinity, the highest aspect of us, the higher power. So I started working with that, and then that brought me to another question, which is, what is enlightenment, right? So what I found was, I was asking Sadashivogam, I said, what is enlightenment? And one girl was saying, everybody who's attending Sadashivogam will be enlightened. And I said, tell me what is enlightenment? And so she was saying enlightenment means you don't complain about anything. So that's a very simplistic term. So then I was listening to Swami Nityananda, Paramahamsa Nityananda, and his version of enlightenment is transferring the experience he felt when he encountered his teacher, which is the pure bliss and oneness, uh, him being infinite power, transmitting that knowledge to another person is enlightenment in his opinion or in his um, understanding. So, but I also listened to him in another lecture where he says, life is about flow of life, okay? And I received a specific dream where about Black-eyed Susan, and I'm not going to elaborate about the dream, but what I gathered from that was Black-eyed Susan or Black Madonna is the belief we hold about healing, and the holder of Black-eyed Susan, like flow energy, is Matangi. She's the flow of life. And then, so this piece, and also Black Madonna is Mary in a cave, apparently. In Slovakia, they went and prayed, and because of the soot of the candle, her face became black because the people's faith is what made her black, which was very interesting. And there was a miracle power that existed when somebody was trying to destroy that, and they used like a shovel or something, and she got a scar in her face. But they immediately felt a severe pain in themselves, and they abandoned the project. So you could see like all this were connected. So then Black-eyed Susan became like kind of like my purpose, and I understood from Black-eyed Susan what my life is about, is restoring flow of life. And I felt very connected to that energy and Matangi energy. Mata means motherliness, Angi means flow. Also could be lymphatic. I love the idea of lymphatic because in the body, lymphatics is the secret key we need to unlock to heal. That's why, the lymphatic is the first sign that says something is in trouble. It swells up and it warns us. Anyway, let's not digress there. So I was asking one girl, yesterday, Maria, we were talking, and she was saying how interesting it was when she watched my Positive Anonymous video. She said yesterday was Ash Wednesday. She was in a church and she was thinking about how I described reliving, which was said by my spiritual mentor and sponsor. Don't remember, instead relive. She said she was running to go to the church. She didn't want to miss it. She was a little late. She encountered a person who she didn't essentially have a resolution of a relationship issue, but she remembered not to remember and relive, and instead she held hands with her. They didn't, the other person, even though she didn't apologize, she kind of felt that was her way of healing the situation, and she said she decided to overlook it, and they came to a very nice place in their relationship. I was thinking, oh, what a beautiful thing, right? So then I come across another girl who is in meditation. I saw her name is Christina. She goes by Chris. She said to me when she watched Kalpataru, she got three things from our spiritual mentor. She said the first thing was we are still growing, we are still a seed. If you focus on things that didn't work, you're going to grow that. Instead, we can create, manifest what we want to grow, whether it's good or bad. So instead of focusing on things or the seeds that we didn't want to grow, why don't we focus on things we want to grow? And the ultimate goal is to be able to be in that space where we are flowing easy with life and coming to our full potential like a tree and manifesting our destiny. So I was thinking that's a very nice way. And she said that. Then that led me to decide to do this video, which is kind of confirmation of what we did as a workshop. But the other thing I'm doing, because my teacher gave us an assignment, is to understand his last lecture, which is action versus reaction. And that is where I'm at. And I'm going to here really in the positive anonymous aspect, because there is a thing called detachment we talk about in Positive Anonymous. Detachment is you are not focused on the outcome, but at the same time, you are not condoning a behavior. So you essentially doing whatever you can to not encourage or discourage something, like meaning, like let's say somebody is having an issue, you're not like manipulating them to go to a meeting to do it your way, but instead just supporting them. If they want to go for a meeting, you take them for a drive, being supportive, not condoning. At the same time, if they didn't attend the meeting, don't be worried and pick up a fight with them. Okay, this is Pastor Anonymous way. But I'm going to reiterate the same thing said by my teacher in a spiritual manner. So now I'm going to break it down what he said. He said the basic of neurology. This is a lecture. Lecture is about action versus reaction. And the whole thing is about low mood. Okay, let's put it into this category, low mood, because he says there are three things that makes us not be in the flow of life. One is the low mood, second is powerlessness, and third one is phobias or fear. And I'm going to make it come together in a different way. So, what is enlightenment? This is my vision, okay? And it doesn't have to do with the spirituality or thinking or anything. Flow, if I have a visual memory, so word has no meaning for me. So, what it is the flow of life. It always comes across this divinity in us, which is the pure intention of goodness that exists in every one of us. You don't need to do nothing to achieve this. But there is a piece in us that goes into a space of breathlessness. Like, when somebody, that in India, they call it Burma points. When we hold the breathlessness in that place, we lose power. Like, you go into a shock when somebody says something, and also mentally, like, you freeze yourself. Those frozen spots are the spots we go and remember. Instead, like how to create power, you go and relive and become the flow again. That's a purpose. Second thing is fear and phobia is your past issue, the way you dealt with and the outcome you received dictates your current behavior. So the phobia, even though it is not frozen, it allows a turbulence in the flow. So if you understand and release that, that is where the action reaction comes in. And that action means coming from your heart and using your highest intention to respond to a situation. And I love the way my teacher says, it's about responsibility. Don't be obligated to help. Instead, go beyond obligation to be responsible for that issue. Let's say somebody you think needs food and you can help them. Do it before they ask you. And it doesn't need to be fancy, You just share what you have. Like, pour them like a half a cup of what you have. Share generously and do it from your heart. There's a very interesting experiment. They did it in, I forgot which country, but they were asking people questions and they were doing a PET scan. And they were like, figuring out how long it'd take for the blood flow to come in versus the nerve to fire impulses. It's called functional MRI. And when they were doing that, some of the questions, even before the nerve fired, the blood flow was restored. What it means is heart knows the truth before the brain does. The brain can think and comprehend. So your heart knows what the right thing to do is. Sometimes you might do it the wrong way first, but it's okay. You can always correct it. But if your intention is coming from a place of love and healing, you're going to be always right. Even if you have people, it doesn't matter to them because they feel so proud you're taking interest in them. Versus reaction is you want to be credible. You want to be coming across as somebody who's been thoughtful. And I feel that's where we fail ourselves. And credibility is based on brain. You think, you feel this is the right thing to do. Whereas in that space, if you come from a place of being very conservative and being detached, not based on outcome, but in but instead trying to do the right thing, you're going to be fine. Okay, this is what I got out of action and reaction. And then he goes further into, in reactive mode, if you're doing U-turn, is frustration, no entry board is depression, and no parking zone is suicide. But as an action mode, he says taking a U-turn means you are essentially, like, taking accountability. Where is it? Let me go back and look. And I think I might have to do this later. So I think I put it in my circle, and it was called SDHD. Okay, no self-doubt. Like, the place where we have fear and phobia is self-doubt. Like, you don't feel self-confident. When we don't feel self-confident, when somebody mirrors that as a question, hey, are you capable of doing it? We will be very aggravated and we will yell at them. And the frustration is essentially the self-doubt inside. If somebody else reflects, we react. Okay. So in action, take away the place where we have self-doubts. And there is a very interesting story which Mukampika evolved because of self-doubt, you should say, or rather, that's the way I understand. Adi Shankara, who's the original saint, he wanted to establish this goddess of wisdom in Kerala. So he comes across this energy portal, which is made of creation, operation, destruction of delusion, both yin and yang parts. So there are six parts: yin part and yang part of wisdom, yin part and yang part of authenticity, yin and yang part of responsibility. All six together, they came as a core energy piece, and he wanted them to come. And in Mokampika energy, in the morning, she comes in as wisdom. In the afternoon, she comes in as authenticity. At night, she comes in as responsibility. So he probably must have invited her in the morning, I think, because the wisdom was following him. One of the rules the wisdom gave him was, if he ever doubts and look back, the wisdom is starting to flow. He agreed. And she had these anklets, so she was jingling along and she was following him, and he was happy. At one point, the wisdom wanted to test him, so she pauses the noise, but she's still following him. So Adishankar got worried, and when he turned back, that's when she said, hey, you doubted me, so I'm not going to follow you anymore. And he begs her to come back. So she says, okay, I'm going to follow you. But because I stopped here, I'm going to honor the space too. So I'm going to come back here at 5 in the morning. That's when he did a pause. So one of the things I'm going to do for my spiritual purpose is, since for me, Rudra, I want to honor, I'm going to make my jingles with, I made a medallion with like, this symbol, and I made 3 holes, one at like roughly 1:30 position, the other one is like 7 o'clock, and then the other one is 5 o'clock position. So I'm going to make prayer threads so that I'll dangle one jingle bell. So in addition, I'm going to do like healing this way, so we can take away the self-doubt. That's first thing. And then the self-hatred, he calls it, because when you doubt yourself, when it is proven right, you hate, or rather I hate myself. Because my husband is very particular not to say you, I have to say I, because it's 12 steps around. So to honor him, I have to remember that. So the self-hatred is the second one, which is no entry. Okay. So he says in, sorry, I keep doing weird things to my hair. So self-hatred is where you need to put no entry sign. So no U-turn is self-doubt. Don't turn back, right? Which is what I shared as a story. Self-hatred is, don't let yourself into that space. So stop that. Okay, so no entry. And then depression, which is denial, self-denial, not able to accept that you're worthy, not enough feeling. That's where the phobia comes in. Is where the life is pinched. essentially not flowing or frozen. So that, but no parking sign. Okay, these three. I learned that. And now what he says is there is always a layer of theta, which is like hormones, in my opinion, that allows us to develop these low mood. So if we understand and use our higher teaching, whether it's from your sponsor, spiritual mentor, or like following our 12-step program, we are going to overcome these delusions, which is like, a pretentious reality, a perception of a reality that is based on our distorted way of thinking, instead to go to reality which is based on liberating logic. Then you need to listen to these meetings. I'm going to always make my meeting based on my teachers, my sponsors, my spiritual sponsor who is running my 12-step program. I love him because he's the greatest teacher. He gave me this called Enlightenment pill, and that's him. And I wear it on Tulsi. The reason is Tulsi is holy basil, and a tincture of Tulsi, interestingly, if you take, gets rid of paranoia. The paranoid status is because when we do too much of good things, hypermethylation, we get paranoid. That's why when people smoke pot, they get paranoid because they are hypermethylating. The way to compensate medically is doing anything with vitamin C, very high dose, or holy tulsi basil. Make a tincture and drink it. Because what it does is it stabilizes that ability to not be reactive. There is an Indian story where this girl who was so much in love with God himself and God was having a relationship with her. Her name is Radha. She wanted to compare all the jewels she had with the Tulsi. Tulsi also was devotee of Krishna. So she put all her material wealth, like, all the jewels and car and everything she had in the scale on one side, and the scale was tipping. And Tulsi was asked to put something of value to her on the other side of the scale. And she just connected with her love inside for her, um, Krishna, like the being she was in love with. And she put one leaf and it tipped the scale. So for me, it is the purest form of love. So in Tulsi, I feel one with, and I wore my enlightenment pill to show that I needed only to be in that space with my teacher. And I'm so grateful. And he also gave me this pendant. On the other side is this picture. I feel it's nobody's business who I follow. But the only thing you need to know is walk the walk. Just don't do the talk. Okay. There are millions of people out there who blame him for how he behaves and how he sits and what he wears. It's not your business. You know, if he has reached 20 million people and he's able to successfully make so many people breathe better and have their flow established, to me, he is enlightening so many beings to breathe easy. That's all it matters to me. If you think you are better than him, show me 20 million followers for you, then I'll follow what you're trying to say. Because maybe you do have some truth in you. But that doesn't mean I need to not validate somebody just to be on your agenda. That being said, I love my sponsor and I'm so grateful he's in the same breathing space as me in this earth. And Om Mani Padme Hum, which says, my mind, body, speech is purified because of the infinite altruism my teacher provides and virtuous wisdom he gave me. And in these two aspects, there is no sin. So I am in oneness with my sponsor. Okay. I appreciate everybody who listened to my meeting. And I'm going to keep doing this 12-step meeting online every week. And my goal is to make spirituality into simple, basic, easy to use rules for life. And I'm going to share one small story why I even started this 12-step program. After I had a very dysfunctional relationship with my husband, I went to the nearest Hindu temple. My husband called the police. At night, I was sitting at the police station. I was 5 months pregnant. And I went to the Hindu temple. I said, hey, please, can I come with my children in the middle of the night if I'm scared? They told me because of insurance, I cannot come in there. And I went to the nearest church, Roman Catholic church, where I used to do adoration chapel. I would sit there and meditate. I said, can I come here if I'm thrown out? They said, I need to do 9 months of rosary for one hour. Then after 9th month, I need to be baptized. And they said afterwards, the elders will consider. I went to the nearest 12-step meeting. The girl in the back of the book, she wrote her number. And she said, honey, call me, I'll come and pick you up. You know what my goal is? To be that honey that will come and lift you up. My goal is, my first mission is to resoluteness, which means no matter what your situation is, know what is legally right. Judgment would be severe, balance it with what is morally fair. And my goal is to stabilize families. My values tells 12 step. This is my religion. And my project is to be a spiritual mirror, which means there is an email that said, God is my silversmith, I'm a spiritual mirror, which means when God sees me in the metal, I'm purified as a like how silversmith are. So with that, I'm going to end this video, and I hope you guys have a wonderful session, and I will see you next week. Love you. In peace. End the recording.